Okay, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about this pamphlet booklet thing. Here it is. Here's the actual thing. Preventing gun violence through effective messaging. I went ahead and I pulled out what I want to talk about today is the back of the envelope facts. After each little section they talk about something, they give you a few bits of facts about it. So I'm going to go through and read the facts to you and then give you my rebuttals. They're typed up over there, so if you see me looking over there, that's why. Unless we act, more than 120,000 people will be killed by guns during the next presidential term of office. Okay, so you know, or the people who wrote this know exactly or approximately how many people are going to be killed in the next 4 years. And by the way, this came out in 2012. Okay. 2. Between 1955 and 1975, the Vietnam War killed over 58,000 American soldiers, less than the number of civilians killed with guns in the U.S. in an average 2-year period. That's a lot. But, according to the Brady Campaign, which is an anti-gun group, 32 people die a day. So if you do the math, that makes, in 2 years, 23,040 people, which is 34,960 less than 58,000. So, you're wrong. I mean, you're just mathematically wrong. You're off almost a little over 3,000 people. Or 30,000 people. 40% of Americans have themselves or personally known someone who has been a victim of gun violence. It's really interesting that the study that they pulled that from is not available to the public, so I couldn't check that out at all. I forgot to put that on my list. So, are you including people who witnessed it? Are you including people who saw it on TV? Are you talking to people who've been shot legally? Yeah. The United States has 5% of the world's population and 50% of the world's guns. Now, does that include the thousands of guns that no government knows about? The ones that are made in caves, the ones that are made in basements, the ones that are imported illegally, smuggled in and stuff. I mean, how do you put a number on guns that no one knows about? You know? And secondly, we're talking about the United States, not other countries. The U.S. has the highest rate of firearms deaths among 25 high-income nations. Now, again, why does it matter? We're talking about the United States. Let's talk about the United States. More children are shot and killed in the U.S. than anywhere else in the industrialized world. In fact, the overall firearm-related death rates among U.S. children under the age of 15 is nearly 12 times higher than that among children in 25 other industrialized nations combined. Again, we're talking about the United States. But secondly, so if you die in some third world country, oh well, your death doesn't count. Americans own far more firearms, including military-style weapons and handguns, than people in other industrialized nations. We have 5% of the world's population and 50% of the world's guns. Again, we're talking about the United States, not other countries. And again, why is it only industrialized countries? How come you don't include every country? If you're going to include foreign countries, you should include all foreign countries, not limit them. 74% of the NRA members support requiring background checks at anyone purchasing a gun. 87% of NRA, these are three different things, yes, 87% of NRA members agree that the support for the Second Amendment right goes hand in hand with keeping guns out of the hands of criminals. 75% of NRA members believe permits should only be granted to applicants who have not committed any violent misdemeanors, including assault. Now, there's no data cited on any of those, so show your work. And also, just show your work. In District of Columbia v. Heller, the court ruled for the first time that the Second Amendment guarantees an individual right to possess a handgun in the home for self-defense. Yep. In McDonald v. Chicago, the court ruled that its interpretation of the Second Amendment extends to the state and local gun laws, not just those in the District of Columbia or other federal enclaves. Yep. Since Heller, courts across the nation have found a wide range of firearms laws constitutional. What laws? Are you talking about that mentally ill should not be able to buy firearms? Are you talking about that felons should not be able to buy firearms? Which laws are you talking about that they're upholding that are constitutional? Okay, across the country, 26 states have some kind of shoot first law on the books. Where are we at here? I should have been keeping up over here. No. Laws are stand your ground, rough termination, meaning you have the right to defend your life outside of your home. Big difference in shoot first law. Okay, now we're going to get a little more open, more in depth. In some states, shoot first laws give untrained civilians more leeway in the use of force than an on-duty police officer or soldier on the front lines in Afghanistan. No. Okay, most states, police officer has less limitations on where they can carry a gun, what kind of gun they can carry, and when they can draw their gun over a civilian. Case in point, many police officers who are SWAT generally have select fire weapons in their vehicles. Some of them, if they use a patrol carbine, that patrol carbine might be semi-automatic and full automatic or a 3-round burst. Okay? Another thing, let me get one of my guns out real quick here. Let me show you that it is empty. As a police officer, let's say I pull a car over at 2 o'clock in the morning in a high crime area. Under the law, I can legally pull my firearm and keep it at the ready. I can aim my firearm at you until I'm certain that you are unarmed. As a civilian, if I walk down the street, even like that, with the slide locked back, I can be arrested for brandishing a firearm. In most states, if I walk down the street like this, I can be arrested for brandishing a firearm because it's in my hands. Okay? And as for a soldier in Afghanistan, there are many times where it is shoot first, but that's in combat. So, in a YouTube video, an Al-Qaeda spokesman urged the terrorist group sympathizers in the U.S. to exploit weak American gun laws to get their hands on weapons to use against Americans. First off, it's kind of ironic I'm doing this right here, but if it's said on YouTube, that means it's the truth. Okay, then I guess that means this video is 100% true. Secondly, do you really want to side with a supposed terrorist? All 4 guns used in Columbine's school massacre were bought at gun shows without background checks. I'm going to come back to that one a little bit also. Doesn't matter where they were purchased at. Doesn't it matter more of what caused these kids to go kill people? I'm more concerned about that than where they got their guns at. And apparently, if they had used machetes and bombs, that would have been okay. 86% of Americans and 82% of gun owners support requiring all gun buyers to pass a background check, no matter where they buy the gun and no matter who they buy it from. Again, show your work. No citations. Okay, 82% of gun owners believe the states, not Washington, should decide who can carry hidden guns in public places. I think these two are pretty much the same. Let me check real quick here. Yeah, okay, so was this poll done at an anti-gun meeting? Because I looked at the citation and it doesn't tell where the poll was done or who it was done by. Next up, concealed carry permit holders have killed over 460 people, including 14 law enforcement officers since 2007. So you're telling me every single one of them was a lawful permit holder, and it was murder. It was not killed. There's a difference between kill and murder. Kill means to end a life. Murder is the unlawful killing of another person. Okay? There are distinct categories that you need to be aware about. Okay. Between 2006 and now, more than 50,000 people were killed in drug cartel violence south of the border. Again, we're talking about the United States, correct? When the recovered guns that are used in these crimes are traced, it turns out that 69% of these guns originated from gun dealers in the United States. Now, were these guns sold to a law-abiding citizen and then stolen by a criminal who sold it to drug dealers? Or traded it for drugs? Corrupt licensed dealers are a huge threat to public safety, and a comprehensive 2000 ATF report found that 1% of federally licensed firearms dealers are responsible for selling almost 60% of the guns that are found at crime scenes and traced to dealers. Again, were these guns that were stolen and then used in crime? A large portion of gun transfers in the United States are not subject to background check. An estimated 40% of the guns acquired in the U.S. annually come from unlicensed sellers who are not required by federal laws to conduct background checks on gun purchasers. This one is really interesting because how do you know? How do you know if I don't do a background check that I sold the gun? How could you possibly get 40%? Straw purchases. People who buy guns on behalf of prohibited possessors are a major source for gun trafficking. An ATF study of firearms investigations found that 46% of its investigations involve straw purchasers. Okay, so you want to make something illegal. It's already illegal for me to purchase a gun for somebody I know cannot buy a gun. So, if it's not working now, how would another law work? And then again, assault weapons and high-capacity magazines are the weapons of choice for mass shootings. The Columbine killers and the Aurora shooter used assault weapons, while the shooters in the Tucson, Fort Hood, and Virginia Tech tragedies were all armed with high-capacity magazines. Again, what does it matter what was used? I don't care if you kill with a gun. I don't care if you kill with a machete. I don't care if you kill with a baseball bat. I don't care if you kill with a flamethrower. I care why you killed somebody. Knowing why people kill will do more than doing anything with what they killed, because people will kill with anything they can get their hands on, and if they can't, they'll kill with their hands. Okay, you're not going to stop murder by stopping people's access to anything. You can stop murderers by figuring out why people kill. I mean, let's just use Columbine for an example. I've read a lot of things about Columbine, and one of them, they talked about it on the internet. Why did nobody talk to them? How come nobody went up to these kids and said, look, I understand you're getting picked on and stuff, but they're idiots. I was picked on as a kid. Look at me. Granted, you might not want to be a social worker or whoever it is that's talking to them, but you don't want to get killed to hell with gunfire and be a piece of crap. And another thing about that, high-capacity magazines. A lot of times the high-capacity magazines are actually what should be called standard capacity magazines. So another one we gotta watch out.